There was a moment of realization in Tanaka's eyes upon understanding what Ayaka was talking about. Tanaka stepped back to get a clear view. She looked at the road they traveled, and then slowly eyed the path they drove up on to where they currently were standing. The gap created between the trees were about the same as a two-lane road, allowing even a large commercial truck to freely enter. What Ayaka found mysterious was how the grass hadn't become overgrown. It was like someone had kept up with the lawn maintenance. This was the biggest thing that made Ayaka suspicious about where they currently were standing, while the long beep continued in the vehicle. Everything points at this place being where the shelter should be located. So, how in the world do we access it? Tanaka said. A squeaking noise followed by a metallic bang was heard. Ayaka looked to see the rear compartment being opened and the others coming out. The first to step around the corner was Mizuki, who had a stick of fish sausage in her hand. Kawa came around the corner and looked around. I thought this was where the shelter was supposed to be. Why is it just another forest? She turned her head and noticed Ayaka just standing there. What? Kawa asked upon realizing something was off. Are the monsters here? Masio asked, being the last to emerge. He checked out their surroundings, not sure what was happening. There was an expression of uncertainty, as though a part of him wanted to go back to the safety of the vehicle. What is it? Mizuki asked Ayaka. She began walking over to where her friend was standing, while taking another bite of the food in her hand. Shaking her head, Ayaka said, "This place practically yells that we're in the right place." She flung her hand as though indicating their surroundings, growling in frustration. Tanaka began walking ahead, occasionally stomping her foot on the ground. What are you doing? Kawa asked when she joined where Mizuki and Ayaka were standing. She tilted her head, not knowing what the soldier was doing, but finding the behavior to be strange. Stomping her foot on the grass, Tanaka then looked at Kawa. If the shelter was here, it's possible that the entrance is actually under us. So, I'm checking to see if there's a difference in the sound. She then returned to walking a little bit forward and then stomping the ground again. Kawa looked at Ayaka and then the others. Ayaka shrugged. It's possible, She pointed at where the radio was located. You hear that noise? The others focused on what Ayaka was pointing out. Is that the radio that was making the beeping noise? Mizuki looked at Ayaka. Did it get busted? Masio asked, trying to understand what Ayaka was trying to say. So, we should be on top of where the signal is coming from, Kawa said. She then turned to Ayaka. Nodding, Ayaka said, That's what we're thinking. On top of this strange road, everything points to us being on top of the shelter. She looked at Tanaka and then to the others. I think she's onto something. At least it's something we can work with right now. Ayaka made a way towards where Tanaka was stomping on the ground. Picking a spot, she began slamming the ground with her foot to try and see if there was a difference. Every time her foot struck the grassy earth, there was a vibrating feel that traveled up her leg. I guess that's not where the entrance is located, Ayaka said in annoyance. Moving up, Ayaka's eyes searched for any indication that there was a structure beneath them. In her mind, she couldn't acknowledge the idea that they'd stumbled upon something that had nearly all the signs of being where their new home would be, but it ending up as a dead end. There's got to be something. Ayaka couldn't help but mutter under her breath. All she could see was the grass and dirt. There was the occasional bug that crawled between the blades of green grass, but it was just the normal things you'd expect if you were outside. It has to be here, she growled and slammed her foot on the ground. Immediately, there was a current of pain that ran from the arch of her foot to her mind.